In Scrapper, we follow a cunning 12-year-old girl who's living on her own after her mom died, who finally meets her dad. And while you can tell that she doesn't necessarily need him, it's a journey of watching her go from hyper independence to wanting this man she doesn't know in her life. So, to summarize the film, it isn't necessarily clear how long Georgie has been on her own or when her mom died. But we do know that through stealing and selling bikes for pieces or parts, she has found a way to survive and pay not only the rent, but bills, and even keep some food in the refrigerator in the cupboards. And all of this is partly possible thanks to her best friend Allie, who helps out. But while she's doing okay, at the same time, she's a 12-year-old girl, so of course, social services is calling on her, checking on her, and while she has been able to trick them so far, there's always that potential that eventually they're gonna find things out once they really put like some eyes on her. Thankfully, though, her absentee father Jason shows up from Ibiza, and he's slowly but surely, even though it's a bit of a struggle, wins over Georgie to the point where she isn't trying to push him away, lock him out of the house, but genuinely let him be the type of father that he should have been all this time. So, top level highlight for me is just how the relationship just naturally evolves when it comes to Georgie and also Jason. And I think the best part to begin is where you acknowledge that Georgie pretty much was able to take care of herself. The only thing that she was missing was a legal job. And then comes in this man who, granted, isn't really offering much since he does have like a wallet clip full of money, but from what it seems, Jason's backstory is that he was doing some type of tourism thing back in Ibiza, living with friends, and as for how he saved up this money or any of that, it's a little bit suspect. But that's for a different topic. Point of the matter is, watching him go from this guy who doesn't really have much to offer besides his time and effort, and then come into Georgie's life and try to have it where she can bond with him by going to where he grew up, giving her a little bracelet that has a name on it, and trying to make sure that she understands that he might not have been there before, but he's showing up now. And then when she gives him the chance to really prove that he can fight some of her battles that, she as a child feels overwhelmed by, it's a really cute and beautiful thing, especially as you see them joke around a little bit, because one of the things that this film is, it's not just a drama with this young girl meeting her father, but it's also a bit of a comedy. For whether it's the what if scenarios about what is Jason's real background, because what he tells everyone, well, what he tells Georgie and Allie in a way seems a little bit fishy, to them having this game, which I think George used to do with her mom, where they see a couple or people and try to figure out what they're talking about and come up with the whole scenario. It's very comical, just as much as it is cute, and there's no big comical moments, but there's the kind that make it so that the trajectory that these two are on, it has a certain level of authenticity that makes the relationship all the more real and makes you so easily invested in what could happen. So, switching to the on the fence topics, a part of me appreciates that we get to know the community Georgie is in, but at the same time, I wish we got to know more about the people in it. For as much as we get to see the woman that Georgie sells bikes to, we meet Allie's mom, who's in a few scenes, and then also the different groups of kids who have rejected Georgie. While the environment is established, the individuals don't feel as much established. And I'm not saying that we needed to have full backstories and everything, but I have to admit, there was some lingering questions when it came to everybody. And perhaps the best example of why this is on the fence topic is because of Allie. And Allie, we only see his mom. I don't think we see anybody else in his family. So there's a question of, is she a single mom or not? And with Also, is she dating? And what's her thing? Because when Allie meets Jason, he latches onto him and he kind of becomes his role model, and he starts asking him about how his relationship with Georgie is in terms of Allie trying to figure out Georgie. And he even starts to mimic him by the end. And it's cute, but it also makes you want to ask questions that you just don't get an answer for. Which, as we noted earlier, is also something you can say about Jason. Jason working in Ibiza, living with friends, is the backstory of what he's done for the last 12 years. But the delivery, it almost makes it seem like a lie. And granted, it's a lie that was never told isn't the truth, but there's something about a man hopping a fence, saying he's Georgie's dad, with a voicemail to prove it, and having to settle for that as the truth, a little bit weird, and it makes it feel like we're missing details. Especially when you consider that Jason makes it clear that he knows how to do what Georgie has done in terms of breaking locks and all that in order to get vehicles, or rather bicycles. So it's kind of like, I get that she was kind of a juvenile delinquent in a way, but I feel like there's more to the story beyond you wasn't really able to communicate or work well with Georgie's mom, and so you decided to beat it instead of try to work things out, or at least stay around so that you can help or even raise your child. But again, they don't want to ruin the whole this is the dad and this is the daughter who's at that age between being a very forgiving child and a teenager who has authority issues. So we're going to let it go, because the cuteness of that relationship definitely eclipses all the questions you may want to have about Georgie's community and even Georgie's dad's past. So overall, when it comes to Scrapper, it delivers a cute portrayal of a relationship between a father and daughter in which trust is earned, love is gained, and despite the time and experiences missed out on, you can see both sides are looking forward to what memories can be made in the future.